Je veux des plans sur la commode. Je veux tes liens sur mon iPod. Je veux la Mex-Pack de ta mère.
This is episode 1 of Black Mesa Video Game News Podcast. Made that up. And it's for the class Communications 130, I think that's the number. And I'm Jordan Youngers, the student you will be grading.
I'm Dylan Pitcher, his best friend.
And I am Reed Owens.
He's
just Reed Owens.
I'm just me.
He's just a Reed to me. And, alright, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I got done with school today.
Oh, well, that's all. I didn't have
That's
school today.
definitely
So.
a plus.
Alright, so we'll just jump right into it with articles. Earlier today, Kotaku, hard to pronounce, posted an article about what will be included in the next-gen PS4 Plus, like PlayStation Plus for it. And here it says that it's basically going to be, it's kind of become more like Xbox Live. It says you can access film and entertainment, sharing Facebook, sharing trophies, which is like achievements for those of you read who don't. There's items, party dynamics and stuff, and then if you actually pay for PlayStation Plus, you get online games, instant game collection. Oh, I think that's the shop.
That's gonna be like a
Discounts,
sort of like the game line,
online game savings, and it's basically, I've noticed that they're just becoming more like Xbox. Which is an interesting thing, since a lot of people are switching over to PlayStation from Xbox, complaining that Xbox is bad, but it's really just they're becoming Xbox.
Well, Xbox has the social corner of gaming completely cornered at this point. So they're really trying to get the socializing, because like, what was it, chats and stuff. You can just go into what they call a party and you can just chat with these other people even though you're in a game or something. And I mean, they're the only ones that could do that for the longest time. So,
and it might be one of those things where you kind of get what you pay for. Whereas with the PS3, that network went down a lot because it was free.
Yeah.
Whereas the Xbox 360, I've had one of those for 5-6 years, and I have never gotten onto Live and had it be down.
Right. I have, but it was because it was like 3 a.m. in maintenance.
Oh, well.
yeah. Well,
it doesn't count. And plus Live is just like, what, $50 for a year?
Yeah, it's like 60 now.
That's really not bad.
And it constantly goes on sale. Like, I bought my last year for like $30 on like some eBay sale or something.
And I've switched over to PC gaming. I'm still probably going to just pay the $60 for the year of Live, because I mean, there are times when you'll come over and we'll decide to play Halo and we'll go online. But if I didn't pay the $60, it wouldn't work. But it's worth it, and it's not that much, so I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah, and something else that I noticed with these next generation, I mean, as I'm sure you both know, with this generation, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, like Xbox has mainly been more of the socializing system. Like, you know, it has all the first-person shooters, multiplayers, it had the better multi-messaging system. It had all of that, and that's because, I mean, their exclusives were a lot better for multiplayer. And then while PlayStation 3, which I'm kind of surprised Reed doesn't have one, half being the loner, it's built more for the solo gamer, like games like The Last of Us, which one of the best games of last year, Uncharted series. They were all, granted those are both Naughty Dog games, and I might just be praising that single company.
That's
but
okay. They make Crash Bandicoot.
They make really good single-player games, and I think that's where they noticed that their market was falling behind, because people are buying Xboxes because they're like, what if I have friends over? This is what I want to do. And then PlayStation 4, they're extending out to get that socializing market.
But to be fair, there are quite a few Xbox games as well that just don't have multiplayer.
I know, but it was kind of...
There was I know what you're saying. It's a little bit...
You think of the big games for each console, and you think Halo, Call of Duty, and those like...
PS3 had some other issues relating to it. Like, first of all, they came out like a year after the 360 did. That hurt them.
Yeah. And then, so any other articles you guys brought up? I kind of...
there's something interesting talking about next-gen consoles. That there's an article here that it's Alienware offering $200 rebate for old consoles. And for anyone that doesn't know, Alienware is owned by Dell, and they're basically gaming computers. They're really high-powered, very good high brand name.
And I want one.
Yeah.
Oh, so what,
I'd recommend them. They're
so
wonderful.
PC gaming now, not just consoles.
Well, next gen.
Yeah.
This is my solution for next gen. I bought an Alienware computer because I'm not going to buy an Xbox One or a PS4. And anyway, go back to the article. They're offering $200 rebate for old consoles, and the Alienware computer that I have right now starts at $699. But if I were to trade in my Xbox 360, that would bump that down to $500, the exact same price as an Xbox One.
Of course, you also have to factor in that you also paid extra for nicer things.
That's true, but then you look at Steam, and Saints Row the Third, fairly new game, you could probably buy that for like $40, $50 a GameStop. I got it for $5 on sale.
That's true.
So
yeah.
Which brings up the article posted by, I guess, Kotaku and IGN recently, is that Steam, the kind of top PC gaming site that holds all computer games, surpassed 65 million accounts.
that's awesome.
Which is like a small country. I don't know the actual size of a country. I don't even know America's populace, but
Look at the smallest country. So I wonder how many of them are serious though, because I had a Steam account for a long time. The only game I had on there was Civ 5, because I got Civ 5, and then all of a sudden it's like you can't play Civ 5 unless if you have a Steam account.
yeah, but I mean that's still a lot of users. I mean, like not. It's only going to be a small percentage of them that are like that.
Sure.
That are like old accounts that didn't work.
How many was it, Jordan?
65 million.
65 million is about the population. It's more than the UK, and it's about France.
My gosh.
PC gamers are now French.
Is that when we all run away?
Ooh, oh, no.
The only French joke I got, alright?
Which I think is interesting because I mean there have been a lot of arguments whether console gaming is going to eventually die out. Because I mean not a lot of people are going to still buy the consoles when games are going to continue to be $60, and then you have Steam, which is, you know, like you said, you can buy these like right now, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, like insanely popular games that will probably be remembered like Mario is now. They're $5.
That far.
I think so. I love them. Maybe I'm
They are
biased.
really good games.
Yeah, but right now they're $5 on Steam.
That's beautiful. I think you gotta
Like right now on Steam, right now is this site says there are 6 million players active,
and I love that.
and this is middle of the day.
That is an awesome thing to see, by the way.
I like the chart.
Something that you gotta look at on Steam. The reason things are so cheap on Steam, though, is there's no used game market.
Yeah.
Whereas with all of the
where-
console games, GameStop,
Yeah.
I mean, they have a huge used game market. Whereas here, I mean, I can't send you my copy of Rome 2. I mean, they're looking into that, but
yeah, but it's not. It's more of a you play my list right now, but it locks you out of it. So
really?
it's still like it's loaning, but then you are locked out.
it would basically be me handing you the copy of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
your entire game library.
Gotcha. So I couldn't. It'd basically be giving you all access to my video games and making me have to go read a book.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
What else was happening with Steam? Didn't Valve releasing a console-like thing? It's more customizable from what I understood.
It's not.
Oh,
it's basically a computer for your entertainment system.
Yeah, it's like a TV thing.
Yeah.
And from what I understand of it, the Steam box is like a. Oh, that sounds dirty. But the Steam box is basically like a UI for your TV screen, like with it, and like it'll kind of have like a Kinect type system, so you can control everything through there. And I'm assuming they'll have certain games that you can play through your TV and stuff. But I'm wagering that it'll be
and I'm guessing that's mostly to kind of capitalize on their TV mode in Steam. Because they do have that, which is very cool. It's just big mode. Yeah.
But I like being able to get through
big picture.
Yeah, big picture.
Well, so I never use it.
I really like the look of big picture too, because it looks very streamlined.
It's very sleek.
Yeah, I like it.
I would like to add though something that I've never actually considered until right now. People when they talk about the next PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and how much memberships are gonna cost, what it's all going to include. Something no one ever really talks about is that on Steam, which I'm now considering Steam like the computer game. It's basically the console.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't have to pay for a membership.
That's true.
All online games, all sharing, all anything is free.
Yeah.
Like an example of that, whereas on Xbox you'd have to pay to get live to get the chat system.
Yeah.
Whereas I was on Steam the other day, and my roommate Alex was in class, and he popped up the Steam chat and was like, "Hey, can you bring me this book because I left it at home?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah, because you can catch your friend in game.
He happened to have his computer with him.
And I'm sure, well, especially you two both know when you're in a game, you don't exactly check your phone.
No, not at all. Like my phone's on silent and phone on the side of the room.
It's true.
Takes all precedence.
Oh yeah.
There are levels.
All right. Any other articles you think?
Do you think the PS4 or the Xbox One is going to be the better system?
I'm honestly Team Xbox.
That's gonna depend on preference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like Xbox games more.
For me, my thing's gonna be.
And again, I like playing with other people.
I like games that have come out on both the Xbox 360 and the PS4, but I'm still probably gonna go computer.
Oh, what was your preference then?
I
already know, but
Xbox One simply because I'm an Xbox person. But on the flip side, I have noticed the PS4 does seem to pack more punch this time around.
Yeah, they're really stepping up their game.
I actually haven't looked at statistics. I mean, is there a difference in the processes? Or?
Number-wise, I can't remember what it was, but I think overall they were just outputting much more. I tried finding the list, I couldn't find it. IGN has one.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing that made PS3 not as good is they had a weird coding for their system, so a lot of people would refuse to code for the PS4.
Excuse me.
Excuse you.
Don't dock my grade.
Okay, now I got on storage. Okay,
a major complaint though about the PS4 is that they're not having a lot of games on release. And on to horror games because Halloween is passed by the time this assignment is turned in. IGN posted an article where the scary things are, whatever happened to real horror video games. And I'm going to admit I didn't really read the article because I'm sure it's just going to be a lot of people complaining about how modern horror video games are crap.
Games change.
And blah, 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 and just stuff I don't really care about. But it's kind of going to bring up the topic of horror video games for us. And the cover here they have is of the game Amnesia.
Because I played both of them. Both of them, they were both indie games, I think. That is Dark Descent, yeah. Because those are the freaky things with like no jaw. They were really weird.
Yeah.
But they were both made by indie, right? Just an indie developer? Or am I completely wrong on that?
I believe they're an indie developer. Because I haven't really heard much about them other than that.
Okay, well, and whatever it has to be, when it loads, we'll see what happens. But those were both stupidly good because I played them both with my girlfriend. The first one, absolutely terrifying. Because there was something.
I haven't beat it because it scares the shit out of me.
There was just something interesting about that game where, and it seems like they just sort of understood the fact that the less of you see of the monsters, the more terrifying they are.
And you have nothing to fight him with.
That's beautiful. I love that.
That is one of the only games I've ever played that I have to make sure I go to the bathroom before I play.
That's the best thing ever. Because I'll get on there and. When we were playing, I was like, alright, I'm ready to go, and this is going to be easy. I'm so used to other games where it's like, oh, it's a zombie game, it's supposed to be horror, but I'll run in with a shotgun, and I'm killing everyone, and I get something scary. But then I'll walk into a room, and I'll see a pop fall over, and then I'll immediately run 20 feet behind me, slamming doors, and hide in the corner, and turn out my light, and just be sitting there shaking.
Yeah, and that was kind of my deal with Left 4 Dead, classic zombie game. Like, when I first played that game, it was like the scariest thing I've ever seen. I mean, that was one of my first encounters with the idea of zombies. That was probably like in the middle school.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
BioShock was also a really good horror for its time, I guess.
Yeah, except in BioShock, ammo limitation was the scariest part for me, because that killed me. But it was just like, in those games, while they retain their scariness, but you could also charge in with a chainsaw. Which was more Left 4 Dead 2, but
Yeah, still.
And also the fact that Slender: The Arrival came out on Steam yesterday.
So remind us, what was that? I've heard of Slenderman. What is this?
Slenderman is sort of Would you say pop culture? It's not necessarily pop culture.
Yeah, he was the origin of Slender Man was probably in the early 2000s. There was like a short story contest in some weird website, and this one of the stories someone wrote about it. Like, I don't even know the guy's name. He wrote about this creature called the Slender Man, which is a really tall, skinny person
Dressed
with just
in a
like
suit, but
pure
just
white
face.
No
features,
face.
just.
Okay.
And he
pure
wears a tux, and he's got like multiple arms. And
well, he's got 2 arms, but then he's got like tentacle things that come out of his back.
But the premise of him was he would hunt down children and like eat them.
Yeah.
And that kind of just took off on the internet, got crazy big, and then that came up. Then eventually the game Slender: The 8 Pages came out after a couple of YouTube series, which played it. And
that's terrifying.
Screamed.
That is the thing. Is it's significantly less scary if you don't have the volume on. When you have the volume on, that's another those games where you have to go to the bathroom before you play it.
Your light flickers out. It turns on and he's right in your face. And those were really shitty graphics.
Yeah, and it's staticky, and it's just like white noise combined with the scream, and it's terrifying.
Then with Slender, the Arrival was kind of like I think it was produced by the same company.
It is, but it's actually the official Slenderman game.
Oh,
so it was backed by the person that came up with Slenderman, as in this is the official one.
My gosh.
Yeah, and
go back up.
It has right there, see that face? But it's I've seen some gameplay, which I should be playing right now. But it is scary because it's like you walk into this house and it's the better graphic. I mean, they're not like.
So what's sort of the goal of the game?
It's just kind of figuring out what happens. It's
okay.
Like it's more story based than
so it's more like the Marble Hornets, not
and it's like you walk in this house and then you don't really know what's going on. It's kind of empty. Some of the doors are open, and the first sight you see Slenderman, you're just walking around. You look and you don't. If you're not paying attention, you don't see him. But you're on the second story and you look out the window and he's just behind a tree. Then he goes away. And at first, like I didn't notice it, but I was watching it with my cousin Ryan. And he paused it, went back, and he said, "Did you see that?" And then when I noticed it, it was like it just gave me chills because it's just like it's one of those situations you don't have weapons, all you have is a flashlight, and you're running from a monster that's more powerful than you. He knows where you are, you don't know where he is, which is honestly, I think that games like that exist today is kind of proof that horror games aren't dead.
Yeah, that is something beautiful about horror games that have come out recently, is like they've gotten the thing in their mind where it's not necessarily the monsters that are as terrifying, it's the little things you don't see.
Yeah.
It's like the little flicker of light that shows the monster for 0.2 of a second in the corner of your screen, and if you weren't paying attention, you would never see it, but the minute you see it, you're freaking out inside. And that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot to handle.
What's some other ways that video games tend to scare people? Like even not games that are there to just absolutely terrify you, like Slenderman, but like other games where you're just like, I'm going to die. Like you guys mentioned Bioshock, Ammo. Ammo is something that a lot of video games use to scare you.
Ammo? Oh yeah. Yeah, like, cause instance in Bioshock, I was just walking down this corridor. I could hear some laughter in the distance. He was some guy talking to himself, like, and that's scary because as you know in this game, enemies just come out of nowhere and they're freaky looking and everywhere is dark, and I'm just walking down this hall and like the only thing I have left is like my revolver, and at this point in the game I haven't upgraded it at all. So I mean, I just got the basic revolver, and I'm like hugging the wall. Like I keep looking indoors and then hiding there, then pausing and waiting a little bit, coming back out. And it's just like all because I was like out of shotgun ammo. And it was just the whole idea that it's like I'm not as powerful as I was before.
Yeah.
Like it leaves you really vulnerable.
Yeah. Which is I really like it. The one thing I think that kind of counteracts that is when they give you a melee weapon that's stupidly good and will never run out of ammo. Like that bothers me, but it is terrifying when, like I said in Bioshock, because I've had that before. It was probably one of the very last missions. I was out of all other ammo, and I had my revolver, which I hadn't upgraded, and I'm like, if something comes at me, I'm gonna have to hit him with a wrench.
Yeah,
that's horribly ineffective, but that's all I've got left.
I'd say my favorite horror game that's come out like ever is probably still BioShock though. I'm like right now it doesn't scare me at all anymore because I mean I beat it a couple times. I'm familiar. Like when a bloated faced prostitute comes out and attacks me and like is throwing fireballs in a dark room. Now it's just weirdly to say it's just common for me. You know, my life.
It runs out, throws fireballs at you, and then Houdini's away, and it's like, all right, cool.
Oh, silly one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Just another day at the office.
Killer prostitutes.
I will say there was that one game. I think you were over here when I was the Killing Floor. When I decided to play that at 2 in the morning. Worst decision of my life.
I don't like Killing Floor.
Oh man, that game is terrifying. Oh, it's a zombie game, and I don't think you've ever seen me play it, Reed, but it's insanely dark at parts. Okay, it's insanely dark at parts, and I got into this tunnel, and it was pitch black, and I turned around with my flashlight, and there were like 10 zombies. It's like, it was terrifying.
Yeah, they're all really fast.
Yeah.
And I hate fast zombies.
Oh yeah.
Well, anything else to say, you guys?
No, I guess to wrap up, next gen console is going to be interesting. Horror games are still awesome. Indie developers are still awesome too. So.
Oh yeah, something we didn't bring up, the whole Slender games, they were completely made by an indie developer, which is I should have explained this earlier, an independent game developer, does it all on his own, kind of like indie music.
Do you guys prefer indie games or do you prefer AAA?
I can go either way. It depends. There are some indie games that have been amazing, but and on the same side, there have been some that are complete shit. So
I'm gonna be honest. I've always been more of an indie game kind of guy. Like if I were to list all my indie games like versus AAA, I would totally go. My indie list would be longer.
See,
I just love the sincerity of them.
That's true. I think it's a good mix. Because I like AAA because I love a very
big money
fine.
games.
I like a very refined experience, and that's something they really do provide.
Yeah, they filter out all the bugs very well.
Very, very.
On the other hand,
cut.
indie games are really good about bringing new stuff to the table, new feels, new thoughts, new like, hey, let's build a world out of blocks.
And the beautiful thing about that
the video game
is and like Minecraft and that kind of thing. And the thing that I think is really cool is I think AAA developers are going to see that, and they're going to pull ideas from that. So you're going to get things that have those indie game ideas, but are very clean cut. So I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to see.
Which is another reason the next gen is going to be great. They've been, like, all the big companies, except like Nintendo maybe, because they're kind of being pricks over there right now with the indie developers. But they're focusing a lot more on indie games. Like, they are actually having specific departments to bring up indie games and sponsor them for the console releases, which I think will be interesting, considering that most indie games are produced for computers.
Indie development now is easy compared to what it could have been.
Yeah.
All right. Well, really need to wrap this up because we're at 30 minutes on recording. You just listened to...
No, that was not fun.
Speaking of horror games.
Horror games, yes.
Let's not get into another conversation. You just listened to episode 1 of Black Mesa Video Game News. I'm pretty sure that's what I called it at the beginning. And Jordan Youngers.
I'm Dylan Pitcher.
And Reed Owens.
And
see ya.
Bye-bye.